Hello, Light Warrior. Happy Equinox. I hope you are having a wonderful day. So this Equinox portal is actually open from, the Equinox portal is open from September 20th until about September 27th. Now, you have to remember that with these portals, they are not like opening and closing on one specific day, right? It's more of like a gradual thing that happens. So just keep that in mind. But in general, this portal will be open and peaking from September 20th until September 27th. Now, I'm just going to give you guys an energy update first about the equinox, then we're going to talk about September and the energy in October because it's all interconnected, and then we'll talk about March 2023, because with these portals, they kind of happen in loops, right? Like, you know how you've heard me say, time is like the infinity symbol where the past and the present and the future are all feeding each other. So that's basically what we're going to be experiencing right now, like at such a big level. So thank you for being here, and just take what information resonates with you. I'm going to share a lot of information, but just take a deep breath. Let's just all take a deep breath together right now, because the more that we can be in our bodies, the more of this oxygen, of this prana, chi, energy, life force that we can breathe in, the more that we can anchor this now. Okay, so just take what resonates with you, because I'm going to share a lot of information. Okay, take a few deep breaths and ground into your body. Maybe shake your body out right now. What happens during these portals is that a huge amount of cosmic energy comes into our planet. So when there's so much energy flowing into our planet, for some of us, it can cause us to feel overwhelmed, anxious, all over the place, a bit chaotic, because it's just so much energy flowing in. So it's so fascinating, because now the energy that flows in during our equinoxes, our solstice, and all the portals that we have since 2012 are much more intense than the ones like 500 years ago or 200 years ago. And that's because right now, if we look at cycles, we're about to start a new cycle with this equinox. For those of you in the northern hemisphere, we're starting fall. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, we're starting spring. And this is just one cycle, right? But we have a 26,000-year-old cycle. We have a 5,000-year-old cycle. We have a 2,160-year-old cycle. And all of these cycles, right, a solar cycle, we have a climate change cycle. All of these cycles right now are now aligning, and that's why right now the energy is more intense. And this happened around 2012, right, with the Mayan calendar and all that stuff. Okay, so that's the big picture of this. Okay, right now humans are going through this huge evolution of consciousness. Now, why is this equinox so important? This was a very last minute video I made, and it's just because I've been busy with the Alchemy Academy, re-recording it, getting ready to open up enrollment again, which opens up on the equinox on September 22nd. What is so awesome about this equinox is that it's very rare that we have a full moon, a new moon, a portal that happens exactly on the same day everywhere in the world. So if you were to look at like all of the time zones across the world, this equinox is roughly about this on the exact same day. So because, you know, like in Europe, in Asia, all over the world, we're in different time zones, but with this specific equinox, the equinox happens nearly on the exact same day all over the world. So that's one awesome and powerful thing about this, but also on the equinox there are exactly 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of nighttime. So this signifies this perfect balance that everywhere in the world, no matter where you are, right, you have nearly exactly 12 hours of light and 12 hours of nighttime. So what happens with this is that the earth is tilting, right? That's why we're switching seasons. So the sun is hitting differently and the cosmic energy is hitting differently. So let's talk about what happens during the equinox in terms of the quantum physics, the science aspect of it. So obviously we have a magnetic layer, an ozone layer, and et cetera, et cetera. So does the sun, right? The sun has its own layers. And what happens is that the magnetic layer of our earth and the magnetic layer of the sun, because they're spinning, right? During the equinox, because we have this tilt, there is an opening, a gap in the Earth's magnetic layer. So it's basically like the magnetic layer of the Earth and the magnetic layer of the sun come together, and that's why a bunch of neutrons, electrons, and protons can flow in between the two. But most specifically, the important thing that we are focusing on in terms of this acceleration of consciousness is neutrinos. Neutrinos are these super fast, tiny flowing particles that are created in the heart of the sun. And it's very fascinating because science only started researching them like very recently, right? So this is what's so fascinating. We're going to start to learn about new particles and new elements and all of these things, right? And it's going to be so incredible because we're going to start to realize how those particles affect our energy field. Because just like the Mother Earth has the magnetic layer around her, just like the sun has it, you also have it. We have a magnetic layer that surrounds our energy field. That's what people call the aura. So the magnetic energy around your body is primarily made up from your heart. Like just like your phone is radiating an EMF, right? It's radiating out Wi-Fi and data, all these things. So is your physical body. And the heart radiates 5,000 times a stronger electromagnetic signal than the brain. So both the brain and the heart are involved with creating these frequencies, and that's why we are so deeply affected by solar flares and by equinoxes, full moons, etc., etc. Okay, so that's like the science aspect. Okay, because what's so awesome about this is that our ancestors knew about the power of all of this. It's going to be beautiful when we see ancient wisdom being merged with modern science, because if you look everywhere around the world, China, Egypt, if we look at Northern Europe, in Mesoamerica, if we look at Antarctica, if we look everywhere around the world, we are going to find ancient structures that were specifically built for the equinox, and they were specifically built for the solstice. So think about our ancestors, who they didn't have that much leisure time like we do, right? They actually had to go hunt for their food, or they actually didn't have lights, so they were running on a clock, right? So they didn't have that much time, but they knew how important the solstice and equinox were, that they took the limited time that they had to build these magnificent structures to capture the energy that would flow in specifically on the equinox and solstice. So go check out in your local area if there's any of these sacred sites. When you go to these sacred sites, it's so extremely powerful. And you can actually astral project to sacred sites. You can astral project to Stonehenge. You can astral project to Chichen Itza, to Lake Titicaca. Like, you can astral project to these sacred sites to harness the energy of this Equinox portal even more. I'm going to talk more about astral projection and all of these things in my Alchemy Workshop that is next Tuesday, September 27th. I will add more information about that workshop. It's free. I'm going to be having slides. It's going to be fancy. Mercury retrograde is going to have our back with the tech. So if you're interested in that workshop, you can find more information in the description of this video or in the link in my bio. Okay, so a lot of energy flows into our planet right now because yes, there's this magnetic energy coming between the earth, the sun, but it's also, you got to think about, it's not just our sun. We have a spiritual sun, Sirius, and then we have so many cosmic bodies. Right now, we are in the middle of 7 retrogrades. You can also consider adding Mars to the mix because Mars is already in its shadow phase. Mars is going to go retrograde at the end of October. And so right now there's just so much cosmic energy, and that's why I wanted to just quickly make this video. Okay, so why is this equinox so important right now? This equinox for me, honestly, see how it feels for you, but this feels like one of the most important equinoxes and portals of our lifetime. Why? Because humanity is about to enter a timeline shift. So I don't want to get too complicated into these timeline shifts. Also, it's 111 right now, so I love the alignment. Alignment is so important during this equinox, so that's why I'm telling you to like breathe into your body, right? Align your body with your mind and your heart and your soul. Alignment is the number one phrase I would recommend that you focus on for this equinox, because you have to be in alignment with your soul to align with that timeline that is most beneficial for you. And we are entering a timeline shift. I'm going to explain timelines in the Alchemy Workshop, just because they're so nuanced, right? Because there's horizontal timelines, there's vertical timelines, there's collective timelines, there's soul group life timelines. So there's many different layers to this. So I will explain this in the Alchemy Workshop. That's again, it's going to be next Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. It's free, so definitely join, because if you're interested in these topics. But the way that I can explain it to you guys right now, just in very simple terms to avoid confusing it, is that right now humanity is about to go into a timeline like shift and split. So right now, obviously, we have the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th dimension. It's not just 3 and 4 and 5. No, there's way more dimensions than that. And what's happening is that at the collective level, a lot of us are existing in the 3rd, 4th dimensions. But right now, with the timeline shift that I feel that we're going to be entering in October, with all of, if you look at the astrology of October, it's literally insane. It's so busy right now. Yes, we have 7 planets in retrograde. I mean, Chiron is not a planet, but its energy works like a planet. So basically, in October, it's going to be so busy astrologically, and these cosmic bodies affect us, right? Like just how I was talking about how the solar flares, that energy affects our energy field, because we have an energy field. So it's like, imagine like you're influenced by your friends, right? When you meet your funny friend, like let's say you were sad or you were upset about something that happened to you earlier, like when you meet your funny friend, that Gemini, they're just gonna crack jokes and like lift up your spirit, right? So your aura changes, your energy field changes. Let's say that you're late to a meeting and like you feel the stress in that room that you're entering in, and you're going to feel that in your physical body, right? So this is how planets affect us, right? They affect our energy field. They don't control us, but they affect us, and that's a really important distinction you need to make. We are not being controlled by astrology, rather we are influenced, and it creates the environment for it, right? Are we going into a comedy show, or are we going into a serious and stressful meeting, right? So just think about it that way. But basically, in October, we're going to have so much cosmic traffic. Let's just call it traffic, okay? Because Pluto's gonna go direct, Saturn's gonna go direct, Mars is gonna go retrograde, Mercury is going to go direct. So there's so much going on. But also keep in mind that within the 3D level, right, there's also the own timelines there, and timelines within the 3D level can be artificial, right? There's people in power who obviously know how to work with energy in a very advanced way. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't use it for the highest and greatest good for the masses, right? Sometimes they just use it for service to self, which is so fascinating because as you guys remember my last post about Queen Elizabeth literally passing away, which some people say that she's already died, right? She's already transitioned, and that was just an announcement of it. Anyways, that happened the day before the 9/9 portal of endings. And what's so fascinating is that the Queen's funeral was 2 days before the equinox. So this equinox, the energy lines of the earth start to harmonize and come into synchronicity, right? They synchronize and they align, which allows more energy to flow into our planet. This usually starts to peak 1 day before and 1 day after. So that is like the ultimate highest part of the portal, which we're in it today, right? We're in it today, and we're going to be in it for these next 2 days. This portal, however, will remain open until September 27. Keep in mind that we still have a new moon. We have an upcoming new moon, so that's going to boost the energy of this portal as well. So it's fascinating that, you know, that funeral was literally 2 days before this equinox, and then today, 1 day before the equinox, Putin, the president of Russia, was basically saying that he's not bluffing about nuclear war, and like it's the biggest like military drill since World War II, and they're sending 300,000 people to Ukraine. And like, so it's really fascinating, because if we think about the Cold War, the Russians and the Americans used to spy on each other psychically. So these are literally documents that you can look up online. Go on the CIA website. You can look up different projects, the Stargate projects. There's different types of projects which were done near, fascinatingly enough, Menlo Park area, where Facebook is located now. Fascinating, right? And what's so fascinating is that, you know, the government of the US, not just the US government, but other governments around the world, it's not just Russia, you know, China's also in it, they would invest money into training people to psychically spy on each other. Okay, so like, obviously these governments, these people in power know how to work with all these things. And so if they're working with it, you know, for whatever reasons they're using it with it, it's then you have to work with it too, right? But use this portal, work with the energy of this powerful portal to align. Don't get distracted. Of course, like, we have to have compassion with the people all over the world, you know, that are experiencing horrible floods, like in Pakistan, the wars that are happening in the Middle East, in Ukraine, you know, all of these horrible things that are happening. Of course, we have to remain in awareness and in loving compassion. But remember, you have to focus on aligning yourself, and instead of giving your power away to getting distracted and getting anxious, like, holy shit, are we really going into nuclear war? Like, instead of channeling that fear, which right now, as you guys know, all portals, every single portal intensifies manifestation. So this is an incredible time to manifest, and these people know that, and you now know that. So manifest the life that you want, manifest the life that you want the collective to have. What does that mean? It means, yeah, you can feel that fear, you can feel that anger, feel that sadness, yes, but then bring it back into saying, like, bring it back into something empowering, right? Like, what can you do about it? Can you donate money? Can you donate your time? Can you spread awareness about the cause, right? Like, just the whole point of this portal is for you to be aligned in your power, and for you to be aligned in your heart and in peace, because it's from this space of where you master your energy, and you bring all of your energy and you focus it on what you actually want. This portal is going to be open until about September 27th. So during this time, you have to really focus on what you want, not what your ego wants, what your soul wants. Okay, spend time connecting with your soul, with your spirit, with your higher self, and see what the soul needs, because that is going to lead you into these higher timelines that are available for us now. So why is this equinox extra powerful? Because we are getting ready to enter this timeline split, where a huge bunch of the collective is going to be in the 3D, and within a 3D timeline. Even within 3D, there's multiple timelines. Yes, it's one dimension, but time and space are their own dimensions. So even within the dimension of space, there could be another timeline within the dimension of time. Just watch this video again, because honestly, some of these concepts are just like, whoa, like, right? But just process it through your heart chakra, use discernment, see what resonates with you. But basically, you want to connect with your soul to see what is in the most loving alignment with your soul, and what timeline is that? Is that being in a 3D timeline? Is that being in a 4D timeline? Is that being in a 5-dimensional timeline? Is it being in a 6-dimensional timeline, right? And there are, right now, we are living in one of the most overwhelming, transformative, powerful, like, most incredible, and also craziest times in human history, because all of these timelines now are like clashing and they're splitting off. It's like a fractal. Like if you look into a kaleidoscope thingy, right? When you flip it, everything starts to fractalize. That's what's happening right now. And some people are going to choose war. Some people are going to choose peace. Some people are going to choose neutrality. And this is what I mean by the timeline shifting. Keep in mind that Mars is going retrograde at the end of October. Mars is a planet of war, aggression, creativity, sexuality, passion, and action. So really connect with these themes, connect with and harness this energy in an empowering way, right? As you heard me say, Mars can be aggression or it can be passion, right? So choose. We always have the option to choose. And yes, this equinox is highlighting that. So we always have, this was a channeled message that I got when I was connecting with the energy of this portal, and the message was that we always have the ability and the freedom to choose any timeline that we want, right? Like right now we can all choose to be in the 6th, 7th dimension. However, we are not always aware of that freedom of choice. And during this equinox, that's what makes it special, because the veil is thin between the dimensions right now. I'm sure some of you guys have been seeing, let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments, are you guys hearing extra ear ringing in your ears? Are you seeing little colors, like fluorescent colors out of nowhere? Are you just getting random thoughts? Are your dreams like super vivid, right? So we all have these psychic abilities, these 6 senses. And so right now, the veil between the dimensions is thin, so we can see more of that. We can access more of that, more of those higher dimensional energies, faster vibrational energies. And so now we are more aware that we can choose between the timelines. So do you understand why this is the most important, one of the most important equinoxes? Is because now this is a heightened awareness. It doesn't mean we don't have this choice always. We always have this freedom to choose between timelines, but now it's like it's easier to do it because our awareness is heightened. Okay, so that's why this one's extra special. Again, we have 12 hours of daytime, 12 hours of nighttime nearly everywhere in the world. On the same day as the equinox, we're starting Libra season. In Western astrology, in tropical astrology, Libra is the zodiac of balance, right? So again, this beautiful balance is showing up. And what's really fascinating about this equinox as well is that I encourage you to take time to honestly just be in nature, because being in nature is going to power you up like nothing else, honestly. Meditation is awesome, but if you can even meditate in nature, that will just honestly like just boost your Wi-Fi signal. Like imagine like your third eye is like a Wi-Fi signal, like your Wi-Fi signal is just gonna go through the roof. And actually it's like meditating in nature actually affects all of the chakras, not just the third eye area. But right now, because we're in this junction of timelines, right, where we're getting to choose between different timelines individually and collectively, you also have to take into account like your human timeline and your soul timeline. Because let's say as a human, like my personality is very evolved, my intellectual abilities are very evolved, right? My body is very evolved, it's healthy, right? But my soul, I can have the soul of a kindergartner, right? Or vice versa, right? Like your body can be in complete, like you're just constantly getting sick, you're constantly being confused, you're having brain fog, right? You're having a bunch of emotional issues, but you can have, your soul can be in at a level of evolution as a 3rd grader, okay? So the human and the soul experience are not always happening side by side, right? They're not always in perfect balance. Sometimes we're too attached to the sometimes we are too attached to the material 3D plane. Sometimes we are too attached to the spiritual plane and we forget about the human experience and the human body. And so at this equinox, I encourage you to bring those two into alignment, because this is an incredible time to do that because of this balanced aspect. Okay, so what are some ways that you can do that, right? Because you guys know me, I always love like practical stuff, right? Like how, okay, this is esoteric and beautiful, but how do I actually do this? 1, meditate in nature. 2, clean up your diet. Like for just at least these next 3 days, and if possible for the next 7 days until the 27th of September, like avoid alcohol, avoid all drugs, right? Alcohol is a drug, caffeine is a drug, if possible, right? But especially during the peak of this portal, because we're also receiving, it's not just soul activations, but we're receiving DNA activations, so your physical body has to be in a cleared out, cleansed space in order for you to receive that and anchor that. Okay, so 2, clean up your diet, avoid all types of drugs, avoid meat if possible, at least for these next 2 days. What else? Processed foods, too much sugar in your diet, too much dairy in your diet. Try to, limit those as best as you can. What else? Okay, so that's cleaning up the diet. 3 is make sure you cleanse your energy field. One of the great ways to do that is by taking a salt shower or going out in nature and cleansing your energy field. Nature is awesome at doing that, at keeping you grounded. And what's really important right now, and I have this in front of me because I'm like, I gotta stay grounded. I have this, this is a shungite crystal, and shungite is amazing at grounding, but it's also incredible at blocking EMF from Wi-Fi routers, the cell phone, the laptops, etc. That's another thing I'm going to encourage you to do during this equinox. Try to limit your electronics. I know we're all addicted to our phones. You know what? I'm addicted to my phone too. I can't get enough of these dog memes. I'm honest, like all of these dog memes online are just insane. So I am addicted to my phone as well. But right now, if you can cut your electronic consumption at least by 30%, that will help your energy body, your energy field balance as well. Remember, because your body's energy, the stuff that you're holding, right, the phone is energy too. So I love shungite for that. So work with your crystals. I'm also wearing black tourmaline, right? Because I'm trying to be grounded. Because with these portals, it's so much energy that comes in that we have to be grounded. And obviously, the number one thing I would recommend that all of you do is connect with your intuition at this time. We are all channels. We all have this Wi-Fi signal. For some of us, it's open and clear. For some of us, there's some blocks, right? So the signal's not as strong. So just connect with your intuition, connect with your heart, connect with your soul during this time, so that you can identify what is that highest timeline for you. What is that most loving timeline? What is that most graceful timeline? Because keep in mind that as a species, as a collective consciousness, humanity can evolve through grace, through peace, through love, right? Through joy. Humanity can also evolve, unfortunately, through war, through aggression, through conflict. That's how evolution happens. And now we have to be the one saying, okay, we as humanity are choosing to evolve through joy, through love, through grace, through peace, rather than the way that we've been evolving in the past, which hasn't been the most fun. Right, so just keep that in mind. Definitely meditate if you can, at least on the 22nd, 23rd, right? But all the way up to the 27th, because there's going to be so much information available to all of us. So do these things, okay? Do these things. I know you got a busy schedule, but even a 5-minute breath meditation, that's another key thing. So I made a post about the heart chakra and the solar plexus being so important during this equinox, and it's just like the explanation that I gave earlier about the earth and the sun. So the earth and the sun, the magnetic layers sort of clash together. Imagine if we're blowing bubbles, and if 2 bubbles came together, they would merge together, right? It's just like when you skip a rock on a pond, the ripples slowly start to come together. So it works in that same way within your own portals too, because the chakras are portals too. So right now with this equinox, there's an energy highway that is opened now, right? That's why the energy can flow faster and is more accessible to us. Also, focus on the energy highway between your heart chakra and your solar plexus, because it's within this highway that you're going to just help to bring alignment into your physical body, into your mental body, your emotional body, your energy body. So really focus on, and what is a practical way that you can do this is by focusing on the breath, and just visualize the breath like circulating and clearing out the energy between your heart and your solar plexus. Eat some yellow foods like yellow peppers, bananas, stuff like that, to help your solar plexus, because also obviously right now humanity is going through this huge like solar plexus cleansing, of our power and disempowerment and all those things. So incorporate that into your diet as well. So those are just some things I wanted to share with you. And then just keep in mind that these portals work in loops, right? What you're manifesting right now, you're likely going to see it at the solstice in December, in just 3 months from now. And you'll also see some of your manifestations, your intentions that you're setting, manifest during the March 2023 equinox, because right now this equinox in September marks the midway point of the astrological year. Again, here we see the idea of balance, of halfway, and then March 2023, that's the new astrological year. And so just keep in mind, write your manifestations down, speak them out, use affirmations. Sound is always so powerful. I highly encourage you guys to do some type of sound healing, chant, hum, sing, especially do it in the shower, because it's more powerful in the shower because of water. And I'm going to talk about working with the elements, with fire, air, earth, water, and light, and Akash. I'm going to talk about how you can use alchemy and use the elements to align with your highest timeline, to heal yourself emotionally, energetically, physically, using the elements. So that's what the Alchemy Workshop is going to focus on. So if you're interested in learning how to explore alchemy, at a very deep level in terms of how to transform with the elements. Also at the workshop, we're going to be talking about how do you access your multidimensional power? Why is it important for you to access your past lives, your future lives right now? Because you're not just this one Wi-Fi signal. There's a Wi-Fi signal of you. You have soul fractals in your past lives, in your parallel lives, in your future lives. So how do we access that multidimensional wisdom to align with that highest timeline? I'm going to talk more about that at the Alchemy Workshop. That's on Tuesday, so I hope to see you there. You can sign up in the link in my bio, and I'll also in the description of this video. We're also hosting an Equinox Ceremony. For this you guys know we always host a full moon ceremony, 11/11 ceremony, all the portal ceremonies. We're gonna get together. Why? Because when you meditate with a group, that's something else you guys I encourage you to do, in these next 7 days. Go find a friend, go find a family member, someone to meditate with, because when you meditate in a group setting, it makes your manifestations, the healing that you do, the releasing that you do, it makes it 3 times more powerful. And that's why we host these group ceremonies. So for our Equinox ceremony, we're going to cleanse our energy field across our parallel lives, because right now the timelines are sort of like merging and intertwining. Now we are being more affected and can affect our parallel lives more. So that's why we're going to be doing that in our ritual today. So, or the ceremony is not today, but we're going to be clearing our energy field across parallel lives. We're going to be clearing our heart chakra to remove any residue that we may be holding on to from past lives, and we'll be doing an alchemy ritual to cultivate balance between our human experience and our soul experience, so that it's more balanced, so that we can have, you can have it all. Yes, you can. You can have exciting, joyful, abundant, loving 3D experience, and have a graceful soul experience, like soul evolution. So you can move through this 3D life in a, you know, in a great way, and so can your soul. So it's like creating that balance. So that's what you need to focus on for this equinox. You know, whether you're joining us or doing it by yourself, focus on that, because that's one of the key things for this equinox energy. So if you want to join that ceremony, you can also join in the description of this video, and or in the link in my bio. One of the most common questions that we always get is, if I listen to the recording, is it just as powerful? Yes, because what we do is we create an energy blueprint out of space and time. So when this happens, we sort of like hold the energy of the group, and we hold the energy of the portal, so that whenever you're listening to it, you can always tap into that energy, right? And that's what's so cool about the times that we are living in now, that there are things that are more easily accessible to us that maybe to our ancestors, you know, it wasn't as easily accessible. So, you know, definitely connect with your intuition. Your dreams are going to be just on fire. I'm sure you guys have been getting like some crazy dreams and movies in your dreams. So just remember, oops, oh, okay, I thought I saw something in the chat. So just remember, you know, to really pay attention to your dreams, because, right, we're all channels, and a lot of information gets downloaded via dreams, via meditations, via just random thoughts, right? We're always channeling. We just are not aware of it always. And if you can sit with your emotions, if you can sit with the symbols, if you can sit with the energy of your dreams, and your relationships too, because relationships are a big theme right now, that's going to help you to unlock like all of the information that's in there. So definitely take the time to just sit with yourself, sit with your spirit, to, you know, absorb and soak up all this awesome, really powerful, aligning and balancing energy that's flowing in right now. I hope you all have an incredible equinox. Remember, this portal's open until the 27th, so don't just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this for 2 days. No, keep doing it, because the new moon is also gonna help to boost the energy of that portal as well. So just take time to connect with your spirit. Thank you for choosing to be back here on earth to reincarnate at this, you know, it can be very chaotic, it can be very challenging time in human history, but I'm grateful that you're doing it, because by you choosing to come here and shine your light and expand your awareness and bring consciousness to another level of being, like, that's how Mother Earth, the planet, everything will shift, right? The shift happens internally, as within, so without. Whatever is happening internally, you're going to send that externally. So remember to send love to the people all over the world right now. After you do your ceremony, your rituals, whatever it is that you choose to do, remember, once you're feeling empowered, once you're feeling abundant, once you're feeling calm, courageous, powerful, and aligned, send that feeling to the people all over the world, you know, who are experiencing poverty, war, genocide, all of these things, and you know, that's how we affect this cosmic web of life, because we're so interconnected, like, seriously. So it's gonna make a big difference. Also, we are donating the profits, a part of the profits from our Equinox ceremony to a local NGO in Afghanistan. So if you know a local NGO in not Afghanistan, in Pakistan, because of the floods, let me know. Write the NGO. It has to be local or at least regional NGO, not international, because the money just gets lost. Please write it in the comments here, or email me or something, because I just want to make sure that it's going to the right place. So yeah, thank you all so much for choosing to be here with you. Thank you for choosing alignment. Thank you for choosing freedom. Thank you for choosing peace, and thank you for choosing love. I am wishing you such an incredible equinox and September and October. Bye.